共建“一带一路”源自中国，成果和机遇属于世界。
In recent years, China has unveiled one ambitious project after another under its Belt and Road Initiative, or the BRI. But one of its most daring and challenging plans is the construction of a highway through the Himalayas, a move that could reshape Eurasian connectivity and economic alliances in profound ways. This project, often referred to as the Trans-Himalayan Connectivity Network, aims to link China directly to Nepal and eventually other parts of South Asia. It's a highway that would cut through some of the world's highest and most challenging terrain that has historically isolated regions rather than connected them. Today, we'll dive into why China is pushing this project forward, what it would take to actually build it, and what kind of impact it could have on the region and beyond. The Belt and Road Initiative, or BRI, is China's flagship infrastructure project aimed at creating vast networks of trade routes to connect Asia, Europe, and Africa. Since it was introduced in 2013, BRI has led to the construction of railways, ports, roads, and pipelines worldwide. Each of these projects serves a dual purpose for China, strengthening trade ties and extending its geopolitical influence. The Himalayan Highway is a key part of this vision and would not only further connect China to South Asia, but it would also give it an unprecedented level of access and influence in the region, particularly in countries like Nepal. Nepal, a landlocked country between China and India, plays a strategic role in South Asia. Historically, it's relied heavily on India for trade and resources. For China, building a direct overland connection to Nepal is seen as a way to counterbalance India's influence. But the Trans-Himalayan Connectivity Network, if extended further, could even become a corridor for reaching countries like Bangladesh and Myanmar, connecting China with broader South Asian markets. China's plan for a Trans-Himalayan Highway is more than just a single road. It's a complex network of infrastructure designed to facilitate trade, travel, and logistics. The road itself would connect Tibet in China to Nepal, passing through challenging mountain terrain, and would feature some of the most advanced engineering solutions available today. If completed as envisioned, it would dramatically reduce travel times and transport costs, making it far easier to move goods and people across borders. This potential reduction in travel time is one of the project's biggest selling points. It means faster, more efficient logistics and the possibility for Nepal to become a trade hub rather than an isolated mountainous country. The highway would likely include tunnels, bridges, and possibly even cable systems to navigate the challenging Himalayan landscape. China has already proven its capacity to undertake projects in difficult terrain, with previous feats like the construction of high-altitude railways and roads in Tibet. However, building through the Himalayas would take this engineering process to a whole new level, requiring a massive amount of resources, planning, and skilled labor. Constructing a road through the Himalayas is no small feat. The terrain is infamous for steep, unstable slopes, deep valleys, and frequent landslides, which means engineers would need to design infrastructure capable of withstanding extreme environmental pressures. One of the biggest challenges is the geological instability of the region. The Himalayas are one of the most seismically active zones in the world, which makes building anything there, let alone a highway, a high-risk endeavor. Engineers would have to design structures that can withstand significant seismic activity and adapt to potential shifts in the land. The weather in the Himalayas is another major challenge. Harsh winters, heavy snowfall, and monsoon rains can create severe conditions that not only complicate the construction process, but also pose long-term maintenance issues. During the summer monsoon season, landslides and road blockages are common, and snow can close mountain passes in winter. For this highway to be viable, China would need to invest in year-round maintenance operations, which would be a costly and labor-intensive commitment. Another engineering challenge involves building in high-altitude conditions. Oxygen levels decrease as altitude increases, which affects both human workers and machinery. Laborers often experience altitude sickness, and machines are prone to reduced efficiency in low oxygen environments. China has previously dealt with these challenges on other high-altitude infrastructure projects, but the Himalayas would bring these difficulties to an even greater extreme. The economic benefits of the Himalayan Highway could be substantial for both China and Nepal. First and foremost, it would facilitate trade between the two nations, giving China easier access to South Asian markets. By reducing transportation costs, the highway could encourage more Chinese businesses to establish trade ties with Nepal, while Nepali businesses would gain easier access to Chinese markets. The highway would also open up new opportunities for tourism, a vital industry for Nepal. The Himalayas are already a major tourist attraction, drawing people from around the world for trekking, mountaineering, and cultural tourism. Improved infrastructure could make the region more accessible to tourists, boosting Nepal's economy and creating jobs. For China, increased tourism would not only mean economic gains, but also stronger cultural ties with South Asia, which is an important aspect of its soft power strategy. Moreover, the project could lead to development in Nepal's remote areas, as new infrastructure often brings with it access to electricity, education, healthcare, and economic opportunities. With the highway as a catalyst, entire regions could see improvements in living standards and overall development, transforming isolated communities into vibrant economic hubs. This project is more than just a marvel of modern engineering. It represents decades of evolving strategic interests, historical ties, and economic ambition between China and Nepal. The idea of a trans-Himalayan link between these two nations dates back to the 1970s. For years, the vision of a highway that could cut through some of the world's most challenging terrain remained a distant dream. But today, backed by substantial funding and the infrastructure initiatives of the Belt and Road Initiative, China and Nepal are closer than ever to making this vision a reality. In recent years, the Belt and Road Initiative has been pivotal in reviving discussions around this massive project. Nepal formally joined the BRI in 2017, marking a significant step in its relationship with China and setting in motion a series of ambitious plans for economic and infrastructural integration. Central to these efforts is the Trans-Himalayan multidimensional connectivity network, which aims to establish rail, road, and air links connecting Tibet to Nepal. With funding commitments amounting to several $1 billion from China, this project aims to be transformative. The THMCN encompasses the proposed China-Nepal Railway, a network designed to connect Lhasa, the capital of Tibet, to Nepal's capital, Kathmandu. China has already extended its railway line to Shigatse, a Tibetan city near the Nepal border, as of 2014, and this existing infrastructure now serves as the foundation for further expansion. Current estimates suggest that the China-Nepal Railway and associated projects could require an additional $5 billion to $7 billion in funding, with China shouldering a significant portion of these costs. China aims to complete this ambitious highway and railway network by the early 2030s, with initial sections anticipated to open as early as 2025. The Himalayan Highway has significant geopolitical implications. The region has long been a point of contention between China and India, two regional superpowers with a history of territorial disputes. China's push to build infrastructure in Nepal could be seen as an attempt to increase its influence in South Asia, a region traditionally dominated by India. India is likely to view this project with suspicion, seeing it as an encroachment on its sphere of influence. The highway could enable China to establish a stronger economic and military presence in South Asia, potentially challenging India's regional dominance. In response, India might strengthen its own infrastructure projects and deepen its alliances with neighboring countries to counter China's influence. At a broader level, the Himalayan Highway could change the dynamics of the entire Eurasian region. If completed, the project would be part of a larger network of infrastructure, connecting China with Europe and the Middle East through South Asia. This could shift trade patterns, making it easier for Chinese goods to reach European markets overland, and giving South Asian countries an alternative route for trade with Europe and Africa. The highway could also serve as a military asset, allowing China to rapidly deploy forces in the region if necessary. The Himalayan Highway is a crucial piece of China's Belt and Road Initiative puzzle, and if completed, it could open doors for further infrastructure projects across South Asia. China's long-term goal is to create an interconnected network of roads, railways, and ports that facilitate trade and investment across Eurasia. The Himalayan Highway will allow China to extend its influence beyond South Asia, potentially establishing trade corridors that stretch as far as Europe and Africa. China's vision for the Belt and Road Initiative is not only economic but also strategic. By creating infrastructure that connects it to distant markets, China aims to reduce its reliance on maritime routes that pass through contested waters. Overland routes like the Himalayan Highway give China an alternative pathway for trade, one that is less valuable to blockades or interference from other global powers. For China, the Himalayan Highway represents a long-term investment in its future as a global superpower. It is a project that aligns with the country's broader vision of reshaping global trade routes to reduce dependency on traditional Western-dominated pathways. As of now, the Himalayan Highway remains an ambitious project, with numerous challenges yet to be overcome. The project's success will depend on China's ability to address the engineering, environmental, and geopolitical hurdles that stand in the way. While the economic benefits are undeniable, the highway's impact on the region's ecosystems and local communities is a cause for concern. The project also raises questions about the future of the Himalayas as a region. Will increased infrastructure lead to development, or will it disrupt the delicate balance that has sustained life in these mountains for centuries? And as China continues to expand its influence through infrastructure projects like the Himalayan Highway, how will other nations respond? Ultimately, China's Himalayan Highway is a testament to its ambition and vision for the future. If completed, it could become a symbol of China's growing power and influence in Eurasia. But it also serves as a reminder of the complexities and challenges that come with building in one of the world's most remote and fragile regions.